In 1957, Detroit stopped building ordinary cars. It started building horsepower legends. Chevrolet chased the impossible with 1 horsepower per cubic inch. Chrysler unleashed giant Hemis. Ford quietly experimented with superchargers. Even brands famous for sensible family cars suddenly wanted to embarrass sports cars. For one unforgettable year, America became the center of the world's horsepower war. But here's the twist. The quickest American car of 1957 wasn't simply the one with the biggest engine or even the most horsepower. Stay until the end, because the winner outran nearly every luxury brute, every Hemi monster, and one supercharged Ford so fast it helped change NASCAR forever. Let's count down the 10 fastest American cars of 1957. Number 10. Plymouth Fury. Most people expected Plymouth to build dependable family transportation. Speed wasn't part of the conversation. That changed almost overnight. By 1957, Plymouth desperately needed excitement. Virgil Exner's dramatic forward look styling transformed the brand almost instantly. The new Fury sat lower, looked longer, and wore towering tail fins that made yesterday's Plymouths seem years out of date. It looked like it belonged on the cover of a magazine instead of sitting in a suburban driveway. But the biggest surprise wasn't the styling. It was hiding beneath the hood. Plymouth fitted the Fury with a specially tuned 318 cubic inch V8, breathing through dual 4-barrel carburetors and producing 290 horsepower in V800 form. Unlike stripped-down race cars, the Fury still came wrapped in chrome. Luxury and everyday comfort. Then the traffic light turned green. Road tests recorded 0-60 mph in about 8.5 seconds, quick enough to shock drivers who still believed. Plymouth only built conservative family sedans. 318 V8, 290 horsepower, 0-60 mph, 8.5 seconds. The Fury proved Plymouth could finally build excitement. But another General Motors division was about to reinvent itself too. Number 9. Pontiac Bonneville. In the mid-1950s, Pontiac had a reputation. Reliable, comfortable, safe, exciting, not even close. Then Bunky Knudsen arrived, determined to change everything. His mission wasn't simply to sell more Pontiacs. It was to make people want one. The result was the brand new 1957 Bonneville, a luxury performance machine designed to compete with Cadillac and Chrysler's famous letter series instead of quietly sitting beneath them. From the beginning, it was something special. Only 630 examples left the factory. Hidden beneath all that chrome sat one of America's most advanced engines, a 347 cubic inch V8. Equipped with Rochester mechanical fuel injection, producing roughly 310 to 315 horsepower, depending on the source. Fuel injection was still futuristic technology in 1957. Yet despite its size and luxury equipment, the Bonneville sprinted from 0 to 60 mph in approximately 8.1 seconds, comfortably beating the Plymouth Fury. 347 V8, 310, 315 horsepower, 0-60, 8.1 seconds, 630 produced. And perhaps the biggest surprise wasn't its speed, it was the price. At $5,682, the Bonneville actually cost more than a fuel-injected Corvette. Detroit's horsepower war was becoming expensive. And the next car didn't just spend more, it brought one of the most legendary engines America has ever built. Number 8. Chrysler 300C. If the Bonneville proved luxury cars could be quick, the Chrysler 300C proved they could be terrifying. By 1957, Chrysler's letter series had already earned enormous respect among enthusiasts. They weren't lightweight sports cars. They were powerful grand touring machines built to cross entire states at breathtaking speed without sacrificing comfort. The secret lived beneath one impossibly long hood. A massive 392 firepower Hemi V8, breathing through dual 4-barrel carburetors, delivered an incredible 375 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers were extraordinary in 1957. More importantly, so was the way the car delivered them. Despite its size and weight, contemporary testing showed the 300C reaching 60 mph in roughly 7.7 seconds, comfortably quicker than both the Bonneville and the Fury. 392 firepower Hemi V8, 375 horsepower, 420. LBFT torque, 0-60 me, 7.7 seconds. People didn't call these cars beautiful brutes by accident. Virgil Exner gave them elegance. The Hemi gave them authority. But Chrysler's heavyweight wasn't about to stay ahead for long. Because Chevrolet was about to prove that a much smaller engine could embarrass giants. Number 7. Chevrolet Bel Air Fuel Injection. While Chrysler relied on massive Hemi power, Chevrolet chose a completely different strategy. Instead of building a bigger engine, Chevrolet made a smarter one. In 1957, that sounded almost unbelievable. The company introduced a small block V8 producing 1 horsepower for every cubic inch, a number many engineers thought was unrealistic for a production engine. And the car carrying this revolutionary engine wasn't an expensive sports car. It was the familiar Bel Air, the same Chevrolet parked outside schools, diners, churches, and family homes all across America. Hidden beneath its chrome trim and two-tone paint sat the legendary 283 cubic inch small block V8, equipped with Rochester mechanical fuel injection and producing exactly 283 horsepower. That magical 1 horsepower per cubic inch figure wasn't just clever advertising. It was engineering history. Even more impressive, the Bel Air reached 60 mph in around 7.6 seconds, beating the far larger Chrysler 300C despite giving away over 90 horsepower. 283 small block V8. 283 horsepower. Fuel injection. 0-60 mph. 7.6 seconds. Chevrolet had just proven that intelligence could beat size. But someone else had an even bigger surprise. And almost nobody saw it coming. Number 6. Rambler Rebel. When people talk about America's first muscle cars, most names are predictable. GTO. Chevelle. Rarely does anyone mention Rambler. Maybe they should. American Motors built its reputation on practical, economical transportation, not performance. But in 1957, company president George Romney wanted to prove AMC could build something far more exciting. Engineers took the compact Rambler hardtop and squeezed in their brand new 327 cubic inch V8, originally designed for much larger Nash and Hudson models. With higher compression, a hotter camshaft, and a 4-barrel carburetor, output reached 255 horsepower. That may not sound overwhelming, until you remember how little the Rebel weighed. During Daytona Speed Week, testers recorded 0-60 mph in approximately 7.5 seconds, making it quicker than Chevrolet's revolutionary Bel Air. AMC didn't stop with horsepower. Heavy-duty suspension, dual exhaust, power steering, power brakes, everything needed to back up the performance. AMC 327 V8, 255 horsepower, 0-60 miles per hour, 7.5 seconds. Around 1,500 produced. Every Rebel came painted silver metallic with gold trim, making one of America's quickest sedans instantly recognizable. It looked like an ordinary family car. It definitely wasn't. And if you think this sleeper was unexpected, wait until you see the Ford that's only 3 places away. It became so controversial that NASCAR stepped in. Number 5. Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner. Most people remember the Skyliner for one reason: its incredible retractable steel roof. Watching it disappear into the trunk felt like magic in 1957. Crowds gathered in dealership parking lots simply to watch the roof fold away. But hidden beneath all that engineering theater was another surprise. The F-Code Fairlane 500 Skyliner carried Ford's supercharged 312 Thunderbird V8, boosted by a McCulloch Paxton supercharger and officially rated at 300 horsepower. This wasn't a lightweight drag racer. The complicated retractable roof added hundreds of pounds. Yet the blown V8 gave the Skyliner performance few expected. Road tests recorded 0-60 mph in roughly 7.2 seconds, making it one of the quickest full-size Fords money could buy. 312 supercharged V8, 300 horsepower, or 60 mph 7.2 seconds. The roof amazed spectators. The engine shocked competitors. But Ford wasn't finished showing off that supercharged V8. The next car used a closely related setup, and it became one of the rarest and most controversial American performance cars ever built. Number 4. DeSoto Adventurer. By now, one pattern should be impossible to ignore. Chevrolet had reached 1 horsepower per cubic inch with its revolutionary small block. But Chevrolet wasn't alone. DeSoto wanted that same bragging right, only with a Hemi. The 1957 Adventurer looked exactly like its name suggested. Bold, dramatic, and impossible to mistake for an ordinary family car. Massive tail fins, glittering chrome, and gold trim announced that this wasn't just another DeSoto. It was the company's flagship performance machine. Hidden beneath the hood was one of Detroit's finest engines, a 345 cubic inch Hemi V8 breathing through. Dual 4-barrel carburetors. Output? Exactly 345 horsepower. 1 horsepower for every cubic inch, just like Chevrolet. Only this time from a legendary Hemi. Performance matched the promise. Contemporary testing placed 0 to 60 mph at around 7.2 seconds, tying Ford's supercharged Skyliner despite taking a completely different engineering approach. 345 Hemi V8, 345 horsepower, unhappy per cubic inch. For 60 mph, 7.2 seconds. Only around 300 Adventurer convertibles were built, making them among the rarest American performance cars of the decade. But DeSoto's achievement wouldn't be the biggest surprise on this list, because Ford had been working on something behind closed doors. Something built for one purpose: winning races. Number 3. Ford Phase 1 Custom. Remember the supercharged Skyliner from a moment ago? That wasn't the whole story. In fact, it was only the public version. Behind the scenes, Ford engineers were preparing something far more serious. By late 1956, Chevrolet had fuel injection. Chrysler had giant Hemis. Ford answered with boost. Their secret weapon was a McCulloch VR57, supercharger mounted on the 312 Y-block V8, creating an officially rated 300 horsepower. Before NASCAR would allow Ford to compete, the company needed to build 100 production cars. Those cars became known as the legendary Phase 1 Fords. Only 15 Thunderbirds, 20 Fairlane Sunliners, and just 65 humble Ford custom sedans. From the outside, they looked almost boring. Minimal trim, steel wheels, plain interiors. Cars that looked more suited to carrying groceries than winning races. But underneath, they hid genuine factory racing hardware, special distributors, unique fuel systems, experimental components, everything designed for one purpose: speed. The result shocked everyone. The supercharged Fords proved so competitive that NASCAR banned both superchargers and fuel injection. Shortly afterward, ending one of Detroit's most fascinating factory racing programs almost as quickly as it began. 312 supercharged Y-block V8, 300 horsepower, 65 Ford Customs built. Today, historians believe only 3 or 4 genuine examples still survive. That makes them among the rarest factory performance Fords ever produced. But Ford wasn't finished, because the very same supercharged engine found its way into a much more glamorous Automotive. Number 2. Ford Thunderbird F-Code. When Ford introduced the Thunderbird in 1955, it wasn't trying to beat the Corvette at its own game. Chevrolet built a sports car. Ford built something different. A personal luxury car that looked elegant, felt comfortable, and still had enough performance to back up its styling. Buyers loved it. By 1957, the first-generation Thunderbird had reached its peak. Longer, sharper, more refined. Then Ford gave a handful of lucky customers something extraordinary: the same family of supercharged F-Code engines used in its racing program. Unlike the heavy Skyliner, the Thunderbird carried far less weight. That changed everything. Road tests recorded 0 to 60 mph in under 6 seconds, making it one of the quickest American production cars money could buy in 1957. 312 supercharged F-Code V8, 300 horsepower. 0 to 60 mph, under 6 seconds. Approximately 212 produced. Ford built more than 21,000 Thunderbirds for 1957. Yet only a tiny fraction received the legendary F-Code engine. Most Americans never even saw one, and almost nobody could beat one. Almost. Because one final car still remained. The very machine that started the horsepower revolution we talked about at the beginning. Number 1. Chevrolet Corvette Fuel Injection. Back at the beginning of this countdown, we talked about Detroit's horsepower war. Every manufacturer had its own answer. Chrysler trusted giant Hemis. Ford believed in superchargers. Pontiac embraced fuel injection. But Chevrolet combined all of those lessons into one remarkable sports car. By 1957, the Corvette had finally become everything enthusiasts hoped it could be. Earlier Corvettes looked exciting. This one was genuinely fast. The transformation started beneath the hood. Chevrolet enlarged its legendary small block to 283 cubic inches, paired it with Rochester mechanical fuel injection, and, for the first time, offered an available 4-speed manual transmission. The result made history. Exactly 283 horsepower. Exactly 1 horsepower for every cubic inch. It wasn't just an engineering milestone. It was proof that Chevrolet's Small block had become one of the greatest performance engines America had ever produced. Then came the road tests, and that's where the Corvette separated itself from everything else on this list. Road and Track recorded the fuel injected, 4-speed Corvette sprinting from 0 to 60 mph in just 5.7 seconds. The quarter mile disappeared in 14.3 seconds. Top speed reached approximately 132 miles per hour. Those weren't just impressive numbers. They were world-class. 283 fuel-injected small block V8, 283 horsepower, 4-speed manual, 0-60 minus 5.7 seconds, quarter mile 14.3 seconds. Top speed, 132 mph. Think about what that meant in 1957. It outran Chrysler's mighty Hemi-powered 300C. It beat Ford's rare supercharged Thunderbird. It left the fuel-injected Bonneville behind. And it proved that clever engineering could defeat bigger engines. The horsepower race we started with finally had its winner. The 1957 Chevrolet Corvette earned its place as the fastest American production car of the year. Looking back nearly 70 years later, what makes these cars special isn't just their speed. It's the fearless engineering behind them. One company chased fuel injection. Another trusted giant Hemis. Ford gambled on superchargers. AMC surprised everyone with a family sedan that could embarrass sports cars. Every manufacturer attacked the same problem differently. And that's exactly what made 1957 one of the greatest years in American automotive history. But the horsepower war didn't slow down. It only became more competitive. Because in 1958, everything changed. The fastest Chevrolet on the road wasn't the Corvette. It wasn't even the brand's newest performance icon. Instead, it was a car almost nobody remembers today. And that forgotten machine completely rewrote the story. If you don't want to miss that chapter, make sure you're subscribed. Because the horsepower war is only getting started.